Once again, good evening, everyone, and welcome to White Sox baseball right here on Comcast Sportsnet, fourth of this five-game series. So happy you could join us. And we got some work to do. We got to win this one and then one tomorrow night to take this series as Curtis Granderson gets set to lead it off, hitting at .259, 13 homers. And first pitch, Hunting pops it up. Pides. One pitch, one out. That's a nice.
Well, you want John Danks to be aggressive, and he's an aggressive guy, but he's had trouble with that strike one. And if he can continue to throw strike one, he's going to be in pretty good shape, especially to this guy who's got a pretty good eye.
One of last night's villains, Placido Polanco, hitting at .252. A homer, he's driven 24. And here's the strike. Tigers, they come in at 32-26, hitting at .261 as a club with a 4.05 ERA. And the count 0-2. And here at beautiful U.S. Cellular Field, 330 down the left field line, 335 down the right field line, 375 in the gaps, and 400 straightaway center. Turn that one over a little bit.
Well, I like that pitch because it was close enough where at least Polanco had a thought. Sometimes that 0-2 pitch is so far out of the zone that the hitter just looks at it, waits for the next one.
Off the end of the bat, Polanco hit his hands closer to the barrel than any player in this league. It's almost like he's playing handball with you.
He's up 2 inches on the bat, and he uses a big barreled bat. He's also perennially one of the toughest guys to strike out in the major leagues. And you're not going to throw the ball by him too often.
We found that out last night.
Unfortunately, yes.
Here's Maggs at .279, a couple of homers. He's driven in 21. Maggs has hit Johnny hard. 17 at bats, 10 hits. 1 homer, and he's knocked in 6 runs. There's a strike on the corner. This is the 7th meeting of the year between these two clubs. In the first 6, we have split them. Souvenir right side.
Those are pretty big numbers against any pitcher, but especially John Danks, who's got pretty good stuff.
He gone. Change up. 1-2-3 inning. After a half inning of play, it's the Tigers nothing and the White Sox coming to bat.
Harris hitting second, Jermaine Dye, Jim Thome, Paul Konerko at first. A.J. Pierzynski, who's had good numbers against Verlander, Gordon Beckham looking for his second hit and possibly his third. Chris Getz playing second, hitting eighth, and Brian Anderson in center field hitting ninth. The Lowe's defensive setup, Rayburn, Granderson, and Ordonez left to right with Inge, Everett, Polanco, and Cabrera. Sardina behind the plate. Justin Verlander on the hill looking for his third loss. He's 2-9 lifetime against the Sox.
And before we show you our picks to click, you at home select yours as Scotty Pod stands in. When Verlander is right, he's got Nintendo stuff.
He starts out 92-93. We'll see that, and then we'll see him steadily climb.
That's high. 1-1 to count. Sox come in at 27-32, hitting at .250 as a team with a 4.30 ERA. And the count 2-1. Verlander 6'5", 225 pounds, out of Lakeland, Florida.
You'd love to put him in the stretch early in this one, and that's why the first at bat by Scotty Pods is so important.
There's a strike to keep the count at 2.
Verlander has a tremendous curveball and a straight change that's his third pitch, but it's still pretty good after you look at that fastball and curve.
Body just slaps that one.
Well, the location of that one, all you want to do is stay alive, because you're not going to put that in play. That ball was almost by Plesetnik when he swung.
That's what the Bee Gees say.
Just staying alive is right.
And another one. This went into the super sweets.
Last 8 starts, Verlander has been close to unhittable. That has to do with control and the fact that he seems to be getting stronger as the year is moving along.
Little chopper. Adam Everett just does get him. Nice play.
Show you the last 8 starts. 6-0, ERA 1.12. Only 37 hits in 56 in the third innings, and so his strikeout to walk ratio spectacular, but especially good the last 8 starts.
Well, that 1.12 is Bob Gibson like, only he did it over the whole season.
1968, a full year.
That still stands, as does in 1968. The American League ERA was set by Louis Tiant at 1.60. Alexei fouls it back right side. Alexei 6 for 12 in the series with a homer.
They're playing him absolutely straight away, and this is a good defense for these Tigers.
There's a breaking ball. That'll buckle your knees right there, and you really, especially as a young hitter, shouldn't feel bad about it. I know it's easier said than done, but you really shouldn't, because you're not going to beat, as a young hitter, you're not going to beat Verlander on his breaking stuff.
Oh, especially the first time you've seen it, and that's really the first good one that he's broken out of the bag. And when you haven't seen it, you've got some problems, because it presents itself as a fastball because the rotation is so tight. Next thing you know, it just disappears low and away.
Here's Jermaine Dye. Takes the fastball, and it misses. But I'm sure Greg Walker talked to the young hitters, your Beckhams, Getz, and even Brian Anderson, who's faced Verlander 7 times. This is when the hitting coach will tell him, look, don't be afraid. If he gets 3 breaking balls over, don't be afraid to grab some bench. You got to beat this guy on his fastball.
I don't think he's going to throw those guys 3 breaking balls anyway, because he really does like his fastball.
Everett having a good series. And there's a good inning, 1-2-3 for Verlander. And after 1, no score. Legendary performance. Robin Ventura hit a 2-out homer into the bullpen sports bar to tie the game against the Cardinals at 8 apiece, sending the Sox into extra innings. He came to the rescue again in the 11th inning with another 2-run walk-off home run to win that game 10-8. That's our Cabot Woodstein legendary performance. Miguel Cabrera takes low and away ball 1. Cabrera hitting at .337, 11 homers. 39 knocked in. There's the strike. He is 1 for 13 in this series, and that one came last night, top of the 10th, out of the ballpark for the game winner. And if you missed that last evening, poof. Poof, poof. Miscue.
Yeah, if you missed it last night, you'll miss it again, but we'll get it to you.
And poof.
Scott Linebrink tries to get inside with the fastball and doesn't get it inside quite enough. Bryant just misses it, and that's the game winner.
Well, that was just a great job by Cabrera. Even though he didn't get it inside maybe like he wanted to, he got it in there. But he just hit it with short arms. He got his arms in there in a hurry. And that's what makes him such a devastating hitter.
He's been in the top 5 in hitting in the American League pretty much all year long. That's not surprising because he uses the whole field and he's got power to all fields.
Ball hit hard right to Alexei. And that is out number 1. Well, he is, before he's done, barring injury, he might do some things that not too many guys have done in this game. He might be right there with the best of the best.
The only thing that I believe that he has to worry about, and it's not anything baseball related, he's got to watch his weight, because that's the thing as he gets older that's going to wind up hurting his legs, and that could be the death knell for any hitter. He's still a very young man.
Well, 26 years old, just turned 26, as I said, barring injury.
Yep.
If he stays healthy, as there's a strike. Yeah, he can do some things that play a lot of guys, about 99% of them, couldn't even dream about.
Well, he's playing with a bad hamstring, and as you can see, he's still got that left leg on a heating pad.
That's just a foul ball, and the count 0-2.
When a hitter gets out that quickly, you've really got 2 choices, and I like the second of the 2, and that's a straight change low and out of the zone. If he's going to go get it, use it. That one was down and in.
In your career, how long did it take you to read hitters? Well, that's an excellent point you just brought up, you know, about when a guy's getting the head out that quick. He's sitting dead red on your fastball.
I was pretty much a slow learner, and I think it probably took me 6 or 7 years. And I had to talk with hitters on my own team to ask them, when you're in this situation, what are you looking for? And what are you trying to do with it? And in talking to them, I had a pretty good idea about what then other hitters are going to do. But, Hawk, it takes a while to do that.
Oh, it does. You know, we did the same thing. I was in the era just before you. And we did the same thing. We talked with pitchers a ton about how they would try to get me out or how they try to get you out, as there's a fair ball right down the line. Ball went over the bag. So Timms will pull into second.
I think one of the things that has to happen, and we've seen it a lot, but somehow, and teams do this, shortstops have to let the third baseman know if it's a changeup. Now, quite obviously, John wanted this ball low and away. He got it on the inner portion, but a changeup is more likely to be pulled. And there are shortstops who will give the third baseman the sign when there's a slider low and in, a cutter, or a straight change, because the guy's more likely to hit that ball down the line. We've seen a lot of balls go between Gordon Beckham and the line from the left-handed Sox pitchers.
Well, the number of shortstops that will do that are very few. It used to be, I mean, universal.
Yeah.
It was universal. But not so much anymore. Brandon Inge hitting at .281, 13 homers. He's driven in 40. I think I mentioned to you when I played with the Red Sox, playing right field or at first base. Of course, at first base I could cheat on my own and get the signs, but in right field there was never to a left-handed hitter a change-up thrown that I didn't know wasn't coming.
And you got it from the second baseman?
Got it from the second baseman.
And that's actually what should happen, but it's one of the things in the game that's kind of gone by the boards is you find middle infielders not reading the signs quite as much.
3-0 the count. And 2 for 8 in the series.
You'd have to think with his power, Jim Leyland would give him the 3-0 green light. So I'd be pretty careful with him with Rayburn in the on-deck circle.
Well, early in a ball game, you can't just be throwing 3-0 cookies up there as he's taking all the way. But you're seeing also fewer and fewer managers who are using a 3-0 offense.
Well, for
fewer and fewer.
Yeah, young hitters, I can certainly understand that, but guys like Inge, you can turn them loose.
Well, I'm on the other side of that page to a degree in the respect of young hitters, especially guys who have a chance to hit some home runs. You want to give them an opportunity to be successful. And a 3-0 is a perfect opportunity because even if he fouls it back, swings and misses or whatever, and then you talk to him about it, teach him how to think about hitting 3-0. He gone. Good turnover right there. Change up.
Great straight change from John Danks. This time, unlike to Tim's, he gets that change up where he wants it, which is out away. When he gets it there, it has good movement. And he gets Inge well out in front of it.
But again, getting back to those managers in that 3-0 offense, most of the time you will see a manager who implements a 3-0 offense was a guy who was a pretty good hitter. Managers who were not good hitters don't like the 3-0 offense.
Well, I think they have to find some trust in the hitter to know that he's not going to take a pitcher's pitch 3-0 and put the ball in play.
And the only way you can do that is by letting them try.
Let them do it.
Ryan Rayburn. And that'll do it. Nothing across. It was a double by Marcus Timms. One left after an inning and a half. Nada. In 04 with the Red Sox, Terry Francona, who absolutely implemented that 3-0 offense in the playoffs and then in the series. He played it like a fiddle.
Well, he had some guys who he really trusted, and that's
key.
when Manny Ramirez was there, and Big Papi was Big Papi. And that team has always hit, and Terry Francona has become a terrific manager because he knows what his guys can't do.
Well, his dad was a terrific hitter, Tito.
Remember him because I was born and raised in Cleveland, and that was one of the stops that he made during the course of his career.
Yeah, I played against Tito. He knew what he was. I'm sure he imparted a lot of that to Terry, but that was just the perfect example of how to use a trio offense to help you get through the postseason and to win a world championship. As there's ball 4 to Jimmy.
That's what you want to do. You want to put Verlander in the stretch. Not that he's not a great pitcher, but most guys don't take near as many warm-ups from the stretch as they do from the windup. And sometimes the first time you go into the stretch, you give up at least a run. Now, he's got 4 wild pitches this year, but he's only given up 4 home runs and now close to 79 innings.
Here's Pauly. Softly hit, and they're going to turn it over very easily. Caught it towards the end of the bat. So quickly 2 down.
We'd like to congratulate the first 32 selections by the White Sox, 2009 first-year player draft. And to let all those guys know that when they do sign a contract, if they do, the payoff is coming to one of the great cities in the world, and that's Chicago. That's a big advantage you have being drafted by the White Sox.
Well, more than just a great city, you're coming to one of, if not the best organization, certainly in the American League. I don't know about all of them in the National League, but you're coming to a great organization in a great city.
And as Hawk, we've seen this year, an organization not afraid to play young players, and that's one of the big things for any young player to know. You see Jared Mitchell, Sox were ecstatic to get him there. Fegley, the catcher they needed, that was the 38th pick. Trace Thompson. And so we could go down, and I think one of the most pleasant surprises was Jared Mitchell was on the board at 23 when the Sox picked, because he's a potential leadoff hitting center fielder with a world of ability and speed.
Down to third. AJ is out, and that'll retire the side. We will go to the third, still scoreless.
Welcome back, and if it's around Father's Day, it's time for Michael Milken to come to the ballpark and raise a little money for something that all men should be very much aware of, and that's prostate cancer. And Michael, pleasure to see you again, and tell us a little bit about the challenge.
Well, this is our 14th season, and the idea is keep Dad in the game. Come out to the ballpark, bring your dad, bring your coworker, bring your brother, bring your neighbor, and remind them to get checked for prostate cancer. And for every home run hit in 60 selective games, people pledge money.
And last year there was 160 home runs hit. You raised $2.5 million, and total through baseball, you guys have raised how much?
$30 million. $30 million. And of which we've raised in matching funds, we get about 25 to 1. So about $750 million from these events.
What people have to realize is this is one of the most curable of all cancers. And so early detection is the key with this, as so many other cancers. And Michael, you've been through it. You know certainly that guys, some of them are hesitant to be checked, and yet the numbers are staggering of how many people will get it on a yearly basis.
1 in 6 men. And so big part of this effort is awareness, telling people to go get checked. And Major League Baseball has done a phenomenal job. You've done a great job over the years. It's amazing how young the two of us are after 14 seasons.
Well, tell us a little bit about how you go and make a donation or how you make a pledge for each and every home run.
Well, you can go to the website, PCF, that's PCF, ProstateCancerFoundation.org. You can learn all about it. And you can give a pledge or pledge for home runs hit. We've averaged about 135, and we need to get a few hit by the White Sox tonight. We have two of our all-time best hitters for home runs, Paul Konerko and Jim Thome tonight, both our player reps.
And a terrific charity, certainly, and one that everyone should donate to if they have a chance. This is a perfect idea to do it, a great time to remember your dad, and certainly to get checked. That's of critical importance.
Just go 1-800-798-CURE, or just go to the website, pcf.org, and you can learn about nutrition, things that you can do besides getting checked to reduce the growth of prostate cancer, which is unfortunately the most diagnosed cancer in America, non-skin cancer.
And this is your first city of how many?
This is our first city, 60 ball games to go. We're full of energy. I've got my Keep Dad and the game jersey on here. And culminates on Father's Day, and we hope you get out to the ballpark in whatever city you live in. And we look forward to seeing you.
Well, Michael, thank you very much, and good luck.
Thank you, Steve.
2 down, and Curtis Granderson at the plate. Granderson went out on the first pitch of the game. Somebody's got to hurry. Johnny became a bit of a spectator. Once you delay like that on a guy who can run like Curtis, forget it. So good speed aboard. He is 10 for 12 in stolen bases.
He's also a guy that you can pick off, because I think everyone knows about Mark Burley's move, but John Danks has a very good move also, and that's a huge lead at first base.
Polanco, 1-0 the count. With a nice crowd on hand. We've had some great crowds. I mean, in terms of into the ball game. And for the weather, considering, numbers have not been bad either. I know a lot of Sox fans are on the ledge right now, Stoney, but this thing is going to pass. We will play better. And in my opinion, as we both have talked about, we're going to win this thing in the end because we have the best bullpen. Now, they have to stay healthy, of course. And we have to get back Carlos Quinn.
That's of critical importance. And we've been told when he is eligible to come back, which should be in a few days, he will be able to come back. Of course, it's going to take some time for him to get his timing back again.
1-1 to count to the 33-year-old veteran second baseman. They got him picked off, as like Stoney said. And he put it on. So that'll retire the side, and after 2.5, it is still 0-0. Ramirez, Lisa, Steve, and Layla, they're going to go with A.J. Pierzynski and Andy Place Sr., Andy Place Jr. Place Holmes down in South Bend, Mishawaka, and Granger. We're going to go with Gordon Beckham. Place Home. Andy and Andy, builders of fine, fine homes. As here is Gordon. Takes first pitch, fastball, strike. And that's high.
You just don't want to see Gordon get in a position where Verlander can use that wipeout curveball.
There it is. I'm glad he threw it on one strike rather than the two.
Yeah, because the first time he'd looked at it, he'd had some big problems. Here's the fastball.
Ball hit hard. Nice pick right there by Polanco. And that is out number one.
When you're at second base, because the throw is a whole lot shorter, you can give some ground and make sure that you stay in front of it. Of course, if you have the hands of Polanco, which are pretty good, just make that play easily. And that's one of the things in talking with Jim Leland about his team this year. The pitching staff has really come alive, but they come alive because the guys are really picking it in the infield especially.
No, we've got 14 more errors than they do. And if it hadn't been for Paul Konerko, if we'd had a normal first baseman, we'd probably have about at least 25 more errors than they do. There's a base hit. Reaches out. And just slaps it right back through the middle. So you can cancel a post-game show. Now that is not for our Chuck Garfien.
No, and that's a changeup. And Chris Getz stays right with it. This is actually a good pitch. It's a changeup, low and away, moving away. And Chris just took it right back up the middle. Now he's got pretty decent speed. Sardina, however, as a backup catcher, he's a very good catch it, call it, block it, and throw it guy.
There's the strike to Brian. Brian hitting at 234, a couple of homers. One of those coming last night. And at that time, it tied the ball game at 3. And if you miss that home run, poof. Just a bullet out here, a screaming Mimi.
Dontrell went 5 innings last night, and he did it on a very bad leg.
There he goes. Quick release, high throw, safe.
That was stolen on Verlander, and Sardina made it a little closer than it should have been. Good effort by Chris Getz. So now he's in scoring position, his 7th stolen base of the year. And take a look at the jump. There's a good 4 steps before Verlander gets rid of the ball. And he's in easily.
Now the count 1-2 to Anderson. Outfield slightly to the right, gap out there in left center. That breaking ball popped up. Inge makes the call. Did you take your own pop-ups of that size?
I would go after it until I heard somebody come and get it. Now, if it didn't go up very high, I just felt you can't let this thing drop. So I wanted someone to take control in the infield. If it went up a little bit higher, then I would step back and call whoever I thought should take it. And usually it was most sure-handed of the guys that would come in. But, yeah, I wouldn't mind taking it. There's this myth that pitchers, for some reason, can't catch the ball. And we usually played shortstop or some other position growing up before we became pitchers.
There's first pitch strike to Pides. Well, you had some guys that could catch pop-ups on with the team you played on with the Orioles. One of them wore number 5 at third base. Pretty good. Backdoor curveball. That's just an unhittable pitch right there.
Now Rayburn's in very shallow in left field, and he's over toward the line. And you're right about the unhittable pitch, because that curveball just snaps over the outside corner, and left-handers give up on it. Very much like Gavin Floyd's.
Verlander is not going to hang many curveballs. He can throw some high ones, like that ball was up pretty good right there. But they're still digging. He didn't throw many rollers up there.
Had a tough year last year, so did the Tigers. Verlander went 11-17 with an ERA just under 5.
That ball, they're playing him perfectly. As Rayburn. That was like Ivan Calderon and Luis Polonia from years back. Meanwhile, we're into the fourth, still scoreless.
It's time for the Duck.
Aflac!
And it's the Aflac trivia question. Who are the only two players to steal more than 200 bases in a White Sox uniform since 1985? It's a lot of bags.
It'll be Polanco, Ordonez, and Cabrera here in the top of the fourth inning. First pitch strike. Polanco. Hit one off the end of the bat to Alexei. It's short. That's a little low. That's okay. If he misses, that's how he has to miss with the change. Down. And Alexei's going to get him again.
Book a White Sox group outing or party area today. Save on each ticket for a group of 20 or more fans. Whether it's a warning track, fan deck, or individual game diamond suites, they're all available. Book a group outing or party area today. Call 312-674-1000 or visit whitesox.com.
There's Maggs. He struck out swinging on a changeup. Fouls that back.
The power number's way down for Ordonez. He's still getting on base, however. Respectable on base percentage.
There's a strike. Yeah, it was great to see the big hurt Frank Thomas in the ballpark today. He's going to be here doing some work for Comcast for the Sox and the Cubs series. Looks great. As there's a one hopper to Getz.
Big Frank was interviewing everybody in sight. He was sitting there at the camera. He had his chair, and they just kept parading people by him. So Comcast is going to get their money's worth. There's Robin Ventura. See him with AJ, and Frank looked pretty happy, one, to be back, and two, to give a shot to television.
Here's Cabrera. He grounded out to short. Well, for the fans out there, the rift between Kenny is over. They have mended the bridges. They are back together, and Frank will always, of course, being the greatest player this franchise has ever had, will always have a home here. Meanwhile, nice inning for Danks.
Visit an All-Star concession stand during the first hour after gates open. For White Sox individual game tickets, call 866-SOX-GAME or visit whitesox.com. Here's a look at Robin. We saw him out in Anaheim. Pretty big numbers with the Sox, and pretty big numbers overall for the course of his great career.
Well, one of the great guys to ever put a pair of spikes on.
It's great to see him out on the field with his son as we did in Anaheim.
Well, for me, it was a joy. All of a sudden, I look down on the field. There's Big Frank. There's Robin. Mags was at the cage, and Frank was just wearing Mags out for those low power numbers. Tell him how he was just starting to flip it into right and flip it into center. And, of course, Robin can wear anybody's behind out. And then to see Ozzie there, they're all telling lies and hugging each other, and Jerry was right there with them. That was a big thrill for me because I saw, obviously, all those guys play their whole careers. So Alexei is retired. He's now 0 for 2. I'll never forget the day in Baltimore at Old Memorial Stadium. I was upstairs. Don Drysdale and I were doing the games, and we were doing our lineups like you and I do before every game. All of a sudden, we hear the shouting going down at the cage because there was nobody in the stands. Orioles had already gone into their clubhouse. So it was a quiet ballpark, and I hear the shouting. And here is Ozzie and Frank, and Ozzie is looking straight up at Frank, getting in his face, just cussing him out. I mean, wearing him out. Frank was arguing back, looking straight down at Ozzie. It went on for about 5 minutes. There's a strike on the corner. Jermaine, but that's the chemistry those guys had. And, of course, Robin and Frank had their disagreements in Yankee Stadium. But for all the fans out there who never have had the opportunity to talk to Big Frank, which not many have, of course, I got to just tell you, there's not a bad bone in that man's body. He's a nice person.
Well, he was one of the most feared hitters of his era.
For 8 years, he's the greatest right-handed hitter I ever saw. Yes, there's the put away right there.
Sox have just one hit, and it didn't come off a curveball like that. Came off a straight change to Chris Getz. Jim Thome also wound up aboard, quickly erased via the double play in the second.
Here's Big Jim. He walked. And they're going to probably try to stay upstairs since Jimmy's backed off the plate a little bit.
That fastball was 97, and 97 above the belt is going to get a whole lot of people.
You just got to make Verlander get it down. Hard throwers, you make them get it down. Sinker sliders, you make them get it up. At one time, Stone Pony was you had to make him get it down. Then later on, you had to make him get it up. And as he gets him a 1-2-3 inning, and we'll go to the fifth. Marcus Thames had a one-out double back in the second inning. Just a rocket right over the bag at third. Had a good hack at that one as well.
Thames has made a pretty good living hitting the left-handers. And he's a particularly good mistake hitter.
Ball took a bad hop. Gordon stayed right with it. Guns over.
What I liked about it was Gordon was right on the line. And if John's going to stay inside and cut that fastball inside, you want to see him right there. Because there is no way the ball can get by him. And it did take a funny hop on him, but he got in front of it. And then the rest was pretty easy.
Well, you see most really good third basemen. What they will do is they know who's playing left field. Obviously, they know the speed of their left fielder, and they will play on that line according to the speed of the left fielder. Now, if the left fielder has terrific speed, they'll play right on the line. If he doesn't, they'll play off the line more. Now, in situations late in the ball game where you've got the guard lines, another story. But I'm talking about just because with Pod's speed, Gordon can play closer to the line because Pod can get there and get it back in.
It's a 0-0 game, and you'd prefer that base hit go to your left if you're at third than your right.
With Verlander on the mound, you better believe it. Broken bat. Inge now 0 for 2.
And once again, Gordon in the perfect spot. So he's got pretty good hands at third base. And it is an adjustment to move to third base from shortstop. But they say one of the leading qualifications to play third is a strong chest. Because you're going to get some hops, especially if you're in close in front of the bag. You're going to get some hops that eat you up.
Here's Ryan Rayburn. He grounded out to Alexei. Yes, you are, but fewer on this field than most. This is probably the best playing surface on the planet.
Every guy that I talk to that comes in, I talk to Adam Everett at shortstop. They comment on the condition of this field.
But what Gordon does well too is he's low. He gets set low. He gets his behind down, which brings his head down. His angle of looking at the ball. If you're playing third base or you're playing first base and you're going to look at the top of the baseball as it's coming to you, you're in trouble. You better be looking it straight on, or preferably you can't do it, but the perception being want to see the bottom of the ball. If you can do that, you're not going to have many bad hops.
Well, Harry Chapman saw the bottom of the ball.
There's a blast from the past.
Yeah.
He was always looking up at that ball.
He was under a lot of ground balls.
Of course, he was a former shortstop with the White Sox.
He played him low.
Watch him how he gets down, gets that behind down.
And he puts that glove out in front of him. But if you're on the balls of your feet, you're going to get a good, quick first step to either side. And for third baseman, you don't need range. You don't have to be fast. Gordon happens to be faster than most, but you have to have great first step quickness. I mean, Brooks Robinson was not a fast runner by any means, and probably
couldn't run a lick.
No, probably couldn't have played shortstop, but boy, could he play third.
He gone. We're halfway home. Nada. All right, Chuck. Thank you very much. As Paul Konerko takes the curveball strike.
Well, this is the inning that should find the Sox seeing the ball a little bit better because it's getting darker. The lights are taking hold, and it's the second time through, and this is the middle of the order.
Outfield straight up, spread out.
That ball from Verlander is just disappearing on that breaking ball.
Yeah. This is one of those guys with, as I said, he's got Nintendo stuff. And when you get a guy like that, you can't be afraid of striking out. You have to still maintain an aggressive posture. in a mode in that mind of yours. You just got to say, I'm going to beat this guy on his fastball. If he gets a breaking ball over, I'm going to grab some bench.
He's thrown him, Hawk, 3 straight breaking balls. Do you just sit fastball, or do you think he's going to come with a curve?
Well, he's got a big strike zone, and there's a fastball. Paulie's trying to protect, but he hit a good spot on it. That was a good job by Paul just to, stay alive. Now, if anybody goes up there looking for a curveball off him, they should go see Dr. Schwartz.
It's a big mistake.
Why look for something you can't handle? There's about a 56-footer.
That was a straight change, and he's asking Sardina if he's okay.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Paulie now 4 for 28 lifetime offers. Got him on the outside corner, and when you get a guy with that kind of stuff making those kind of pitches, nothing you can do. You just overmatched.
We set him up with the breaking ball, use the straight change as a waste pitch, and then just wipe them out with a fastball in the outside corner.
So here's AJ. He grounded out to third. AJ put his emergency swing on it. A little tardy right there on that 96-mile-an-hour heater.
Well, you wouldn't mind a curveball from Verlander to AJ, and the reason is because you'd be pitching away from your defense. And there's a huge gap in right center field. Also, there's a gap down the right field line as Ordonez is well off the line.
And that's by in. Slaps it that way, but Rayburn's going to get it back in. So we pick up our second hit.
Verlander throwing a fastball. Good movement. AJ staying right with it. And with Inge off the line as far as he is, he can't get to it. That's one of the few balls that Inge hasn't picked in this series.
And here's Gordon Beckham. He hit the ball hard right to Polanco, who made a nice pick on the hop. There's the fastball, and he flips it back into the seat, souvenir right side. A beautiful night here in the beautiful city. And we got 2 good pitchers going at one another right here. Totals on the board identical at 0-2 and 0. That breaking ball hit high into, he just missed that one. High into left field. Raven gets it back in, and that's out number 2.
We'll take another look at it, and Gordon is starting to hit the ball a little bit better. Now that was a rolling breaking ball. That's the first one of the night that came up rolling, and normally you get a real good swing at it, and Gordon just missed it. But that's the first hittable curveball that Verlander has thrown tonight.
Gordon a little upset with himself right there. That's one of those pitches, as Steve just mentioned, off Verlander. When you get it, you got to hit it hard. As Getz hits this one hard into left field, but meanwhile, not hard enough. And that'll retire the side. We'll go to the 6th. It is still goose eggs.
strikeouts, almost identical pitches. And John has had to be this good because Verlander's not going to give you too much tonight.
Well, you know, it seems like in Johnny's young career with us that when he has been faced with a challenge, he likes it. Johnny likes the challenge. You know, that big game he pitched.
Game 163 will tell you that.
He knew he had to be on top of his game tonight against Verlander. Meanwhile, Adam Everett. And that is a home run. That is 1-0 Detroit.
That is just the second home run of the year for Adam Everett, who's always been known for his glove. This year he's got that batting average up around 270.
He's having a terrific series both ways.
Ford home run replay. John throws a fastball that's supposed to be inside, and he gets it up and out over the plate. We've said a number of times, if you're going to try to get it in, miss way in as opposed to out over the plate. And that one just barely inside the pole at the 330 mark.
Sardenha. 1-0 the count. He's 0 for 1, went out to right field. Pulls the string a little bit. Thirty-year-old catcher. Now 0 for 3 lifetime against Danks. Comes back with the gas and the count 1-2. In the finale tomorrow afternoon, make your plans to be with us here at the ballpark. Gavin Floyd against Edwin Jackson. Now, if you can't make it, that game will be over WGN. He gone. And let's check out the rest of our Felco upcoming schedule. After tomorrow, it's off to Miller Park up in Milwaukee for that 3-game set. Then have Monday off, come back with 3 against the Cubs on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and then it's off to Cincinnati for 3. First pitch strike to Granderson, who had an infield hit. Little bunt. That ball hit well into center field. Ryan got a good jump. He's there, hauls it in, and that's out number 2.
Want to be a part of the team? Join the White Sox Kids Club. Members receive ticket coupons, White Sox tattoos, and much more. Visit whitesox.com to join the Kids Club.
So Danks throws his 10th homer of the year. And as Steve mentioned, the second. Adam Everett. Here's Polanco. Twice he has gone out to Alexei. Yeah, but Johnny has faced up to a lot of big tasks. Last year, he and Gavin Floyd both being youngsters. Watch out. That's into the Tiger dugout. They had some big spots they came up on, and they handled them magnificently.
That'll shake the boys up in the dugout. Looked like it just missed Dontrell.
Softly hit, but the leadoff homer by Adam Everett. And we'll go to the bottom of the 6th. It is 1-0 Bad Guys.
With it, the Aflac trivia question: who are the only two players to steal more than 200 bases in a White Sox uniform since 1985? And the answer: Lance Johnson and Ray Durham.
Window.
A lot of bases.
I love to watch Ray run. Ray. Two good guys. Meanwhile, we're in trouble. As that curveball hangs a little bit high. That's the second one he's got up in the last 2 innings.
If he gets the fastball down, Brian's going to be able to handle it.
Brian popped up to Brandon Inge. And he grabs the strike with that one. Verlander looks to me like a guy that just has such a good feel for it. And by that I mean as many curveballs as you threw. I'm sure there are a lot of times that you in a 2-2 situation, you threw the curveball, you missed with it, but you knew exactly what went wrong and you wanted to throw it again on 3-2.
I threw a lot of 3-2 curveballs and I changed the speed.
That ball hammered. Another breaking ball, he got up. So he's getting him up here in the bottom of the 6th inning, and he got one up to Gordon Beckham last inning.
And although Verlander has worked deep into games and completed just one, rolling breaking balls is a sign that he's starting to lose it a bit. I'm not saying that he's done in this game, but now he's vulnerable because that curveball is not snapping like it did the first 5 innings. And Brian hammers this ball, winds up at second base. That's a tying run, and now it's up to Scotty Potts to get him to third. And if you don't think you can pull the ball, bunt it to third.
You've got to get him over. We've got to start executing. He just looks. So the good speed of Brian Anderson and the good jump right there. And they get the job done. Now it's up to Alexei. Now the Tigers, if you missed the first 3 games here, the Tigers have really executed and been opportunistic. We have given them 2 of the first 3 games. We've given them the 2 games they won.
Well,
but they executed well.
There's no question, but they got the bunts down that they had to get down and move the runners along when they had to do it. Now Alexei's seen a steady diet of breaking balls. And in the strike zone, he's not a bad breaking ball hitter. Now the infield also comes in at all 4 positions. That really helps a hitter.
This is a big pitch right here, the first pitch in this sequence. And it goes to the advantage of Alexei. You're right, if he can just lay off the breaking ball that's down and out of the zone, he should be able to get Brian in.
Well, Verlander has 4 wild pitches because of that curveball, and when he tries to really bury it, that puts a lot of pressure on the catcher.
Boy, he just made another good pitcher's pitch right on the outside edge of the outside corner.
Fastest fastball he's thrown tonight. That was 98 miles an hour. So he's reaching back and getting a little bit extra on that fastball. You got to be careful which foot you step back with because Verlander came very close to balking.
There it was. Got it up just a little bit on him at, but fastball at 98. Now Alexei has a tremendous strike zone going for him in his own mind.
Well, he's seen the 98 and knows he can get around on it, but he's probably going to see a curveball here.
And not in the zone. Fastball. Fired over into the photographer's well.
He's gotten a piece of the fastballs. Hasn't gotten a good piece, but at least he's been able to fight him off.
Big at bat. Popped up. Polanco making the call. O'Brien remains at third.
Visit your friendly neighborhood Culver's restaurant and enter the Kid of the Game sweepstakes for your chance to announce play ball from the field prior to a White Sox home game. Visit your local Chicagoland or Northwest Indiana Culver's restaurant for details.
So it's up to JD. Jermaine has grounded to short and struck out swinging on a bad curveball down and away.
Well, Inge went to talk to Verlander. Now, bear in mind, Inge was also a former catcher. And he was asking Verlander if he's going to throw the breaking ball to him, he's going to get closer to the line. He's going to go with fastballs away. He's going to get further off the line.
That fastball at 97.
Jermaine's had pretty good numbers against Verlander for the course of his career. Not so tonight.
Oh and 2. Got to cinch it up and hunker down right here. 23. Jermaine took that pitch nicely.
He was trying hard for that fifth wild pitch. That was his cutter. It wasn't a curveball. It was 92 miles an hour. He just cut it and tried to keep it just off the corner.
Gap out there in left center. Two out, 2 balls, 2 strikes, tying run at third. And a full count with Jim Thome on deck. Ball for a base hit. Well, he has stayed away from his curveball with that man on third.
I think with Jim Thome up next, this would be a curveball. For me, it would be the curveball, because if I walked him, a guy who's had a lot of luck against me, I wouldn't feel bad about it. Let's see. He's trying to throw it as hard as he can, and JD is staying alive.
98 on that fastball. Here it comes again. Right there. So we get the leadoff double. Ponce does his job. And we can't get him in. It is still 1-0.
Locations, the lowest prices, and the most benefits. Call 312-674-1000 or visit whitesox.com.
Mags Ordonez, first pitch, has trouble. So the leadoff single. Mags now 1 for 3. 1-0 Tigers here in the top of the 7th.
This is a changeup. It's down. And Ordonez takes it the opposite way. Now, if Cabrera will oblige, especially with that bad hamstring, by hitting the ball on the ground, we'll turn a pair.
A little tardy on that one. And Souvenir right side. Cabrera is grounded to short, grounded to second. Top of the 7th in Fenway. Boston leading the Yankees 6-5. One and one to count to the 26-year-old defending home run champion of the American League. He had a good rip at that one just underneath it. And the 1-2 pitch. Cabrera last year, 37 homers, 127 RBIs.
Pretty impressive.
For a 25-year-old, yeah.
For a guy that also uses the whole field.
Oh, that's why. That's in the center field. Brian can't get there, so first 2 men aboard and trouble of brewing here in the top of the 7th. Marcus Thames
going over to have a talk with Gene Lamont. And you normally wouldn't even think about Timms laying one down because he doesn't have a sacrifice this year. If you do ask a guy to sacrifice when he's not able to do it, he'll pop it up.
He has doubled and he has grounded to third. Takes that one low and away. Banks with 78 pitches through 6+ innings. That ball into left center field. Ordonez tagging. Here he goes into third. Here's a throw by Bryan. Safe. Beautiful peg by Anderson.
If Ryan had been able to get back and set up, he probably would have thrown him out, but this ball was hit very deep to left center field. Anderson makes a good solid throw. Ordonez actually slows down to slide, and that's something that's not recommended, but he is in at third.
And here's Brandon Inge, who has struck out and grounded to third.
And he hit him.
Ozzie now coming out of the dugout. Yeah, let's see this. The ball didn't hit him.
Didn't look like it hit him from that angle, but
Didn't hit him.
AJ didn't say anything.
Well, nobody, we thought Dwayne Wise was safe last night. Nobody said anything when they called him out. So it's hard to, you know. So here's Rayburn. That's out of play right side. And take another look at the center field shot of this. What Runge said was hit by a pitch. No, sir. Well, I'm surprised at Inge, to tell you the truth. I mean, here's a place where you want to hit. Man, you got man on first and third. 1 out.
He didn't say anything either.
Well, it looks like he turned around and he wanted to call. He wanted Runge to say he got hit. As the count now moves to 1 and 2. As a hitter, that's when you turn around and say, that ball didn't hit me.
Tigers with the bases loaded have been exceptionally tough this year.
Just got a piece of it. Johnny dealing down low to Rayburn. Sykes packed with Tigers. Mags, Cabrera, and Inge.
Not much speed on the bases for the Tigers.
Unfortunately, the only speed they got is on first. Of this trio. 2 and 2. Big gap out there in left center.
Adam Everett, who homered in the on-deck circle.
And a full count. So Rayburn, after being down 1 and 2, has worked his way back into the at-bat.
Tevio Dotel getting loosened up in the bullpen. If Rayburn does hit a ground ball, he's actually going to have to hurry because he does have pretty decent speed.
Payoff pitch. Pops him up. Stay in here. Come back. Stay in here. It won't. Back in the third row. Dead. Yummy. It's a big out. Big out right here. Johnny had something on his mind, called AJ out.
Could very well be that he doesn't even want to let him go through a set of signs. And he might want him just to set up over the middle of the plate.
Or he may just have, watching that swing by Rayburn right there, might have a pitch that just popped in his mind. Which would be good because he's going to throw it if that's the case with conviction. Once again, the payoff. And that's ball 4. It is 2-0.
13th RBI of the year, and here comes Don Cooper to talk with John Danks.
Well, you know, now all of a sudden this is a real close pitch, but all of a sudden that call by Runge on Inge sets this whole thing up, which he did not get hit with a pitch.
It could very well be that Don Cooper is going to wait out there and might have a word with Brian Runge, but no.
So here's the man who's really had a good series thus far, Adam Everett. He's 1 for 2, a homer that came leading off the last inning. Can't get that one. Yep. Inge going down there and loading him up sets the whole inning up. Boy, I'll tell you what, this one I wish I could cuss. Out of play right side, and the count 0-2.
Now,
Tracks packed still.
It's going to take a real long fly ball to score Cabrera from third base.
Well, if that's the case, you better pitch him down. He gone. And that's out number 2.
And he makes a good solid pitch with a cutter. Keeps it out of the zone. And Everett expanding that zone. Very defensive swing. Now you can get out of it by retiring a guy hitting under 100.
You notice, Stevie, I know you do as a pitcher, and a good one. Notice the difference in the bats when Everett is even or ahead in the count versus when he's behind. Threw that one right by him.
That's why strike one is the most important pitch in the game.
That's it.
Because you make a succession of defensive at-bats instead of allowing the hitter to sit back and really air out a good solid swing.
Most important pitch in the game. Always has been and always will be. And a count 0-2. But they pick up one, which turns out to be, in essence, a gift run. 7th inning stretch, we need 2 to First pitch called a strike on Tomey. And that's low. Big Jim has walked and struck out. Let's look at the first pitch right there on Tomey. See Jimmy off the plate a little bit. And that ball never came back.
Normally you don't get that call when the catcher sets up low and away.
Well, if the pitch on Rayburn, is that ball hit high and deep? Maggs just looks up. You can put it on the board. Yes. Yeah. Number 552, but more importantly, it makes it a one-run ball game. That's his 7th career homer off Verlander.
Verlander tried to heat him upstairs and didn't get it quite high enough. Jimmy hits it over the Miller Lite Bullpen Sports Bar, right over the head of the Bertucci boys.
Well, if that's the case, that's a monumental home run.
Big home run.
That's outside.
That's only the 5th home run Verlander's given up this year in 83 innings of work. Here's our Ford home run replay. It's a fastball. It's just under the number, and that number is 552, the Ford home run replay.
Well, Jimmy can hit that pitch off Verlander now and keep it fair.
Because he's
off the plate.
Right.
If he's on the plate, that same pitch he hits it hard, it's foul. Meanwhile, Paulie with a 3-0 count, turn him loose.
It's as loose as you can get, but at 97, you have a hard time catching up if it's not on the inner portion. That's one big man, Jim Tomey.
One strong dude right there.
Oh.
He just flicked that bat. Wasn't too much of a swing involved on that one. Ate him up right there. Hopefully Paulie's all right. Hopefully he didn't jam that right hand or that.
It looks like he did, Hawk. Looked to me like he felt the vibration all the way up to the elbows on that one.
Boy, been there and done that, and this really hurts.
See it right there. He puts his head down. And you know he caught it off the bad part of the bat. He's had some hand problems.
That's what held him back last year. Boy, when you get a bone bruise, man. We cannot afford to lose Paul Konerko to another bone bruise. Now he'll play, he'll go through the pain, but won't be able to be as efficient as he should be.
He's been our best hitter by far with runners in scoring position, and we haven't hit well with runners in scoring position all year.
Big rip by AJ. AJ is 1 for 2, and the count is 0-2. Two down.
Host a private party on the U.S. Cellular Field fan deck in center field. Packages include 150 game tickets, access to the fan deck for the game, and an all-inclusive food and drink package for the first 90 minutes of the game. Reserve the fan deck today. Call 312-674-1000 or visit WhiteSox.com for more details.
Wow.
Greg Maddux got that pitch. He'd have won 1,000 games.
I'll show it to you after this pitch. There's a shot, base hit by Gordon. Attaboy. the first pitch.
Sardina wants it outside, but this ball isn't even close.
Sardina didn't even try to pull it back. It was so far out there.
I think he was the most surprised guy in the world when he got the call.
Gordon now 1 for 3. He just missed one his last time up. Got a rolling curveball from Verlander, and then his first time up hit the ball very hard to Polanco.
Well, Hawk, we've seen him hit the ball progressively harder and harder with every passing game.
There he goes. And they get him, says Bill Miller. But the home run by Thome. And we'll go to the 8th. It is 2-1 Detroit. All right, Art Chuck, thank you very much. As first pitch strike to Granderson, and that ball hit deep into left field. Pods backing up right in front of the track. And let's take another look at this Gordon Beckham play at second.
Gordon spun his wheels a little bit. However, take a look at the left arm and take a look where the tag is.
Well, Miller can't see it.
Nope.
He's safe.
The tag is on the chest. The left arm is on the bag.
I mean, what's going on here with some of these calls? The call last night at home plate? Inge getting hit by a pitch that he didn't get hit by? Come on.
This is not a particularly good sign, not to denigrate Josh Fields. It means that Paul Konerko did indeed hurt his hand, and we'll give you an update as soon as we get it.
That's not a good. We cannot afford to lose Paul. As I said, he'll play through the pain, but he won't be able to execute the way he has been. He's been swinging the bat extremely well. There's a strike and the count 2-1. Three and one. And that's ball four. And if you missed that play at the plate last night, extremely close. There's no question about that. It's a very, very close play. No, this is not the one.
Sednick scored. There was no doubt about it. Dontrell dropped the ball, then he hurt his knee, and
well, that was not the play. We're going to get the other play. We're going to get the one when Dwayne Wise slid in on the bases loaded double by Konerko. But meanwhile, Ozzie is out. Danks will depart. Danks pitched well. Johnny pitched hard. Battle is behind off. He'll depart and we'll be back.
Last night with the bases loaded, Paul Konerko doubles in the left field corner. Then Rayburn gets it to Adam Everett. Now it's a big wide turn by Dwayne Wise. It cost him a half step. But he dives, touches the plate. Now, although depth perception doesn't allow you to see it, at that point Laird had not tagged him because he gets him by the numbers in the side. Hand, it appeared, was on the plate.
Well, it was on the plate. I mean, he was safe on the plate, and it was a ball game. If he calls him safe, the game is over.
Yep.
We win at 7-6. He called him out. We go to extra innings and get beat 7-6.
Octavio Dotel comes in for the 26th time. He inherits Polanco at first. It's 2-1.
Polanco, pretty good lead. Low throw by Octavio. Watch out, you don't have Konerko over there.
But Josh Fields did a good job of picking that
did.
ball.
Paulie's one of the best at that.
Ordonez has taken to an inside-out swing with most everything.
Last couple of years, Max has been going more and more and more to staying inside.
That takes away a whole lot of power, but you'll keep your batting average up. But they're looking for power from this guy, or should be.
Should be. Josh, get out there and get it. Back him up. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th. It is 2-1 Tigers.
Sox trail by 1 as we head into the bottom of the 8th inning.
Gets a single, stolen a base, and going out to left field. Well, I said before the first pitch was thrown in the first game that this was a big series, and I was glad to see them give us a good crew. This is a good umpiring crew. But I want to tell you something. This umpiring crew has had a shaky series.
Well, it is a good crew, and they've had an inconsistent series, and it's been inconsistent.
Well, they're no different players. They have good days and they have bad days.
Well, I haven't found in the course of many years in major leagues, I've never found an umpiring crew that goes out there with the intention of doing anything but having the best game they can possibly have.
There's a base hit. That's a good way to start it. That'll ball, Chris. No, this is a good umpiring crew here. They just have had a tough series, that's all.
And 2 hits for Chris. That represents the tying run as Verlander gets a fastball up. Chris does a real nice job of not trying to pull it, not trying to do too much, just taking it where Verlander threw it. Now the outfield is very deep all the way around.
Brian just hung out a rope for a double as there's the bunt. That's a good one. That's going to get the job done. Sacrifice 1-4. Gets into second. That's a nice right there.
Good execution by Brian as he puts it in a spot where Verlander is forced to go to first base. We'll watch it again. He keeps the head of the bat up, and that's the key, because then you can get the ball down. Verlander double clutches, but still gets it to first in time. Nice effort by Brian Anderson.
So here is Pods. He is 0 for 2 with a sacrifice bunt.
We've got Rayburn playing very shallow over toward the line and left. Granderson shading left center field, also fairly shallow. And Jeff Cox, the third base coach, has to take a few things into consideration. And that is, Ramirez has not swung the bat well, has not had the ball out of the infield. So on a base hit, you would be more likely to gamble with gets.
Good rip just underneath it. If you're just tuning in, we had that opportunity back in the 6th inning, as Steve's alluding to. The leadoff double by Brian. Sacrifice bunt by Pods to get him to third. Then Ramirez hit a little soft pop-up to second base. So we could not score him as Jermaine struck out. No balls and 2 strikes.
And a good job of staying alive there, because that pitch fooled Scotty Pods. Bobby Jenks loosening up. He hasn't had much work lately.
He was just underneath that one.
100 pitches for Verlander, and we haven't seen a whole lot of drop-off in velocity. Now, we have seen some drop-off in the way the breaking ball is breaking, which is one of the reasons why he's staying away from curveballs now.
The rotation on it, not as tight. Well, if that's his reasoning, it shows maturity on his part.
Well, you know when you're not getting the real good break on it, and late, that's the pitch that will beat you more often than any other pitch.
And the count 1-2. Come on, 22. We need you. Outfield very short. Everett, just a token gesture. Curveball high.
I'm surprised he threw it. He got fortunate that he actually hung it way up and out of the strike zone.
And a full count.
He hung another one up and out of the strike zone.
Well, sometimes when you throw in today's game, 105 pitches, it's hard to get that arm up.
Yeah. Lexi sitting there waiting on deck.
Yeah, he should be noticing the same thing you were just talking about. Fastball, you knew that was going to be there.
Well,
But he hit a good spot with it.
Terrific battle by Budzinski against a guy who was so highly thought of back in 2004. He was the second player chosen overall in that draft, Justin Verlander.
Ball full base hit. Ground ball. Never just looks as Getz gets in there. Now that could turn out to be nice. That could turn out to be big right here as far as Alexi Ramirez goes, keeping him away from that curveball.
Rick Knapp comes out. He wants a word with Verlander. And I'm sure he's noticing the same thing we are, that that curveball isn't breaking real well. Probably also telling him, look, this is the last inning that you're going to pitch. So whatever you have, show it to me here.
And as the last time Alexi came up, the first pitch in the sequence is big. Now Alexi got the advantage as he missed blowing away last time. But again, this is a big pitch in this sequence. And Alexi
swung the pitch out of the zone.
Helps him out. That's I mean, that's just not good thinking right there. Going after a bad breaking ball. If you want to go after a bad fastball, that's different. Because that just opens up now Verlander, his whole arsenal to him. And the count 0-2. Hopefully in a couple of years, Alexi in the same spot will not be swinging at a bad breaking ball on first pitch. Or even sooner. Well, he got himself out right there. Verlander gave him the opportunity to get himself out, and Alexi took it. We're into the ninth, trailing by 1. As you check out our Comcast Sportsnet tail of the tape, there it is. We have had some opportunities and couldn't do anything with it. Now we have executed 2 nice sacrifice bunts tonight, which is big in the scheme of things down the road.
No question, and Verlander's just been real tough when he's had to be.
There's the strike. And the count 1-1 to Cabrera, who is 1 for 3. Down in front. Backs that one foul.
Meantime, Johnny Danks did a whale of a job, going 7 1/3, a couple of runs on 5 hits, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts.
Here you go.
It's a good hard slider by Dotel. Burr misses that ball by a good foot. That's as fooled as I've seen him in a long time.
Yeah, Danks pitched this skinny behind off tonight, I'll tell you that.
Well, he had to, and he was almost equal to the task. Didn't make too many mistakes tonight, and there was very little margin for error. He pitched out of some big innings.
Well, he caught that bad break in the 7th.
Yep.
When Runge said that Inge was hit by the pitch when he wasn't. That set up the inning for him. Josh, watch out, Josh. All right. That ball comes down at a different angle when you're playing first base than when you're playing third.
There's no doubt.
Yeah, that hit by the pitch in set it up, and then the 3-2 pitch to Rayburn. Johnny pitched well. So here's Inge. 28,079 on a beautiful evening here in the beautiful city. And here's that pitch that Ryan Runge said that he was hit by. And that loaded the bases. 2-1.
Well, he is much further away from the plate than he was in that pitch to Danks. If you see where he's setting up and watch where he set up to John Danks on that pitch, he's probably 6 inches closer on the Danks pitch than he is to Dotel. Look where he is. He is right on top of the plate. Now he appears to turn away. It's really not turning away all that much, but he got right up on top of the plate.
Well, there's ball 4. What he's doing is he's creating his own strike zone against Danks, and he's creating another strike zone, but it's his against Dotel.
Well, that's a veteran hitter, a smart hitter.
That might be one reason this year he's hitting at 281 with 13 homers and 40 RBIs, because he's moving around in that box, creating his own zone. He's got the talent.
And he leads this team in runs batted in.
So here's Rayburn. He's 0 for 2 with that bases loaded walk. There's a strike on the breaking pitch. Inge has got, still at 32, a young 32, he's got a tremendous upside. No balls, 2 strikes to Rayburn. by creating our own zone. It means just what kind of a pitch do you want to hit. You can, for the most part. He gone. We'll go to the bottom of the ninth. It is 2-1 Tigers. It'll be Dye, Tomey, and Fields.
As far as the Sox are concerned, and this is a bomb. Cut the lead to 2-1. That's exactly where it stays, and that's the Dodge drive of the game. So Verlander has got to go right through the heart of the order. Remember, Paul Konerko left the game. Josh Anderson in the game in left field. Ryan Rayburn at first base. And here we go in the bottom of the ninth.
Jermaine is 0 for 3 tonight. Takes that first pitch, fastball high and wide. And the count evens at 1. That fastball at 95.
There is nobody throwing in the bullpen.
Well, after last night, Verlander told Leland, just leave them right where they're at, Jimmy. That's into right field. Thomas. So a big out, first out. So here's Tomey. Big Jim, a walk, a strikeout, and a homer.
Josh Fields came into the game at first base, and he is in the on-deck circle.
And, of course, with that home run by Tomey, the Alex Nelius family will donate $100 to White Sox charities for every Sox homer hit throughout the course of the season. That is number 62, so $6,200 donated by Alex Nelius in loving memory of Ursula. Curveball, got it over. Well, Ozzy's going to have an option here. Dwayne Wise, 3 for 5 lifetime against Verlander. And Josh is 0 for 7.
So far, it is Josh in the on-deck circle.
Two down. One and one to count. Come on, Josh. The 2-1. 3-1 with A.J. on deck. Don't help him out.
We'd love to see him get aboard, because A.J. actually has good career numbers against Verlander.
Two out, 3-2 the count. It'll be Gavin Floyd against Edwin Jackson tomorrow in the finale of this series, as the Tigers have won this one 2-1.